Inside number 23, my channel, which is all about knitting and sewing and generally living the craftiest life possible. My name is Katie and you can find me pretty much everywhere on social media as Miss Lavelli, although I'm most active on Instagram. We also have a Ravelry group for the podcast, which you can find by searching Inside number 23 on Ravelry. All of my show notes can be found in the drop down menu bar thing down below, and if you have any questions or inquiries regarding the podcast, please feel free to drop me an email. It's katie@insidenumber23.com and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Oh my goodness, guys, it feels really great to be back with you for another podcast. I took last week off. I wasn't intending to take last week off, but I realised kind of around that time that I was just taking on too much, what with having my 30 before 30 series of videos and my birthday followed by Emrys's birthday, and rather than kind of do a subpar episode of Inside number 23, I wanted to save all of the good stuff for this week. So thank you so much for your patience. Thank you also for all of your well wishes about my birthday and Emrys's birthday. I am now a 30-year-old human being. Hooray! I'm really happy. We both had incredible birthdays. The entire kind of weekend was absolutely lovely. Spent lots of time with my parents and obviously with Emrys and with Rolly, and it was wonderful. There are a couple of 30 before 30 videos that are still waiting to be uploaded. Again, with the not doing the podcast, my editing just kind of went out the window a little bit. So those will be coming your way, hopefully within the next couple of days, all things going as they should do. But yes, thank you so much for all of your support for all of those videos that I put up. It was a really amazing experience. And although I'm pretty knackered now, it was so much fun and I loved it. It was great. A little bit of admin before we get started. There's a couple of things that I need to get off my chest at the beginning of the episode. It's nothing serious, it's literally just administrative stuff. But first of all, Vlogtober. As you will have noticed, because we're a couple of days into October, it's not happening, guys. I'm sorry. I was strongly considering taking part in Vlogtober because I do love a good vlogging month, but it's just been too intense doing 30 before 30 to then have another full month of videoing every day. So I decided against it. I do have a couple of video ideas for things that I'm really excited about doing, so you never know, this month there may be extra videos on the channel, and I would recommend keeping an eye on my Instagram to see when those are uploaded, if they are uploaded. But right now, I'm not holding my breath for anything too exciting. I may well be taking part in Vlogmas this year. You know, I do love a bit of Christmas as much as I love Halloween, so you never know. Like I said, there will be vlogs coming at you soon, just not a full Vlogtober. My next point is a kind of apology mixed in with a knit along and all of this. The Harry Potter knit along. I am hosting a year-long knit along, Harry Potter themed, which I have a video about in terms of all of the information, which I will pop in the down bar down below. But I was really remiss insofar as I didn't open a September finished object thread, and I'm so sorry, you guys. Quite a few of you reached out to me to make me aware that I had forgotten to do this, so thank you so much for that. And I'm just really sorry that for some reason when I drew last month's winner, I didn't think that I needed to open a finished object thread for September, so I'm really sorry about that. One thing I am happy about is that somebody actually opened a finished object thread in the Ravelry group. I really appreciate that, so thank you. And you guys have been popping your entries in there, but because I was the one who was at fault and didn't basically open the thread myself at all, and it's actually only been open for a relatively short amount of time, I am not going to be drawing prize winners this week. I will be drawing them next week, so please get all of your finished objects in that thread. Thank you so much much to everybody who has been involved thus far. It's been brilliant. I love seeing what you guys have been working on, and now that we are in pretty much full-on knitting season, I hope that there will be lots of Weasley jumpers kind of working their way out of the woodwork. But yes, I will be drawing the September winner next week, and I will also, by the time this episode goes live, I will have opened the October finished object thread as well. So please, please, please get your entries in for September, start getting your entries in for October. And do remember that at the end of the year, or at least at the beginning of January, there's going to be an extra special prize drawing for people who have created 6 or more Harry Potter themed objects throughout the year. Like I said, any further information, do check out my little video about the knit along, and that basically clarifies everything. But thank you again for getting involved. Thank you to everybody who has been kind enough to donate prizes, and good luck. Get all of those entries in. I have one more really, really special, exciting thing to talk about before we get on to the episode at large, and that is a giveaway. Hooray! I am really, really excited about this giveaway, you guys. I have been lucky enough to have been in touch with the incredible company Blacker Yarns. They got in touch with me specifically asking if I would like to review some of their new yarn. And this is some yarn that I'm sure that all of you have heard of by now. It's been making its way around social media because it's wonderful and it's incredibly popular, and for very good reason. And that is the new line of yarn, which is Brushwork. I actually have the sample card right here. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Now this is a sport weight yarn that has been produced by Blacker in the UK, and I am going to read you quickly the description on the back of the lovely sample card that I have here. For our very special birthday yarn this year, we've created a blend that's truly one of a kind, combining fine and rare British fibres with painterly inspiration. Scottish Beaumont are very special sheep, their fibre renowned for its superb fine quality. They were originally developed by crossing Saxon Merino with Shetland to make a Merino-style sheep which could live comfortably in the UK's damp climate. I mean, can we talk about a Merino-Shetland mix? It just blows my mind. It makes me so excited. The majority of Scottish Beaumont fibre goes into luxury garment manufacturing, so we were thrilled when Sue Blacker of Blacker Yarns, managed to purchase a bale for Blacker Yarns. We immediately knew that we had to do something truly special with this one-of-a-kind fibre. We've chosen to blend our Beaumont with 10% Castle Milk Mourit, a breed listed as at risk. There are only around 1,000 of these sheep left in the UK. Castle Milk sheep produce a wonderful, plump and bouncy brown fleece, which adds a depth of colour and a touch of rustic character to this yarn. To give it a little more drape and luxury to this lofty woolen spun yarn, we've added 20% British alpaca, and we adore the resulting blend. I mean, I adore this blend too. I can't tell you how gorgeous this is. So if you want to know about all of the details about the shades and everything, I would very much recommend that you check out Blacker's website. This is not my full review of the yarn, by the way. This is just me talking about the giveaway, because I have not yet had the opportunity to play with my 2 balls of brushwork that were sent to me. Oh my goodness, these colours are just insane. The first one, Craquelure, that's this one. It makes me so happy. This is pretty much everything that I make should be in this colour. But then there's Sploosh, which is this one, which I love in equal amounts. And look at them. I'm thinking maybe a bit of colour work to test these out would be amazing, but I'm so happy with them. I think that they are gorgeous. If you are as excited as I am about Brushwork by Blacker, you will be incredibly excited about this. I mean, so they really went completely overboard when they sent me some yarn to give away, because I have in this incredible parcel, which I have opened up a little bit, 6 skeins of brushwork, Blacker Yarns in this beautiful sport weight in the same colour that I have my little sample of. So that is, and all laugh at me, Craquelure. That's what I'm going with, Craquelure. and it's glorious. These 6 beautiful skeins of yarn could be yours. And there is in each one of these 152 meters, or which is essentially 165 yards, and I get to give these away, and I'm so happy because this is such a lovely prize, and I know that it's going to make one of you guys, it's going to make your day, it's going to make your week, it's going to make your autumn, let's be honest. So thank you so much to Blacker for sending this incredible prize. I mean, this is so generous, and you guys, you blow my mind. Thank you so much. Also, excitingly, my lovely friend Katie Green, who we did a review of her book a couple of episodes ago. Hi Katie! She is actually doing all of the labels for Brushwork. She designed all of the gorgeous artwork for the labels, and that makes them even more special. So this is definitely something that you want to get your paws on. What I am going to be doing, if you want to win these beautiful skeins of yarn, I'm going to be opening a giveaway thread in the Ravelry group, and I would just like you to head over there and tell me what you think that you would make with this yarn. That's all you need to do. Have a little browse and think about what type of projects you would like to make with this glorious, luscious yarn. Tell me about it in that thread, and I will be drawing a winner, I think in 2 weeks. I want to give you guys a lot of time to be able to enter. And yeah, I really hope that you're as excited as I am, because I mean, I'm just holding this and oh, it's wonderful. It's so squidgy and gorgeous and amazing, and I'm so happy with it, and I wish that I could keep all of this yarn, but I'm not going to. I'm going to send it your way, whoever wins it. So please head over to the Ravelry group now. Just stop the podcast, go, enter the competition and come back. Okay? All administrative things to one side, I think it's about time that we get on with some proper crafty bits and pieces, don't you? So I'm going to start off, as I always do, with a quick and dirty, what am I wearing? It's not dirty. It's not dirty at all. It's just quick, because I'm only wearing one me-made thing today, and that is my lovely Featherweight cardigan. Isn't it gorgeous? This is an oldie but a goodie. You will have probably all seen this before. This is my Featherweight cardigan, which is a pattern by Hannah Fettig, and I knit this out of my darling friend Kristen of Voolenvine Yarns yarn. So this is Voolenvine Yarns. This is her Wolke base, which is an MCN base in the Gashleycrumb colourway, and I love this cardigan. It is so nice now that the weather has definitely started to chill down. All of my much loved knitwear pieces are coming out and getting an airing, and it's making me very happy. And this cardigan, I am twinsies with Kristen, because she has also knit this exact cardigan out of this yarn, the same base, the same colourway, the same everything. So it makes me think of her, and it's just a really lovely, snuggly piece of luxury to wear. I absolutely adore it. If you haven't made the Featherweight cardigan, incidentally, I think it's a great first cardigan project. So check out the pattern and see what you think. Seriously, all of the sweaters that have been finding their way out of my chest of drawers over the past couple of weeks have just made me knitting crazy. So it makes sense that we should move on to our next segment, which is what's on my needles. And I have some really fun things to share with you this week. First of all, my Aspen cardigan. Now, as you remember from last episode, I had been knitting away on my Aspen cardigan. This is a pattern by Michelle Wang, and it was originally designed for Brooklyn Tweed Shelter, which is a worsted weight yarn, but I have been adapting the pattern into a DK weight yarn. Now, I wanted to talk about this, although I don't have anything really to show, and that is because I have been working on this project, but the actual knitting has stopped because I am full on into kind of adapting the pattern for what I want it to be. So I already swatched for a different kind of yarn because I'm using a DK weight yarn, but I want to adjust the dimensions of the cardigan. So I want to change the length, I want to move where the pockets are, just kind of play around with the design a little bit, and it's not something that I've done for quite a long time. At the very beginning of my knitting journey, when I came back to knitting, I was a lot more kind of crazy with my knitting, and I'd, you know, take this from here and this from here and combine them and change things around and be very exciting and use a lot of vintage patterns and vintage charts and create garments that way. But for at least the past couple of years or so, I've been very much, I will knit the pattern exactly as is. So it is giving me a little bit of brain ache. I'm not going to lie, kind of fiddling around with this pattern. And because it's so intricate and the charts are, although not, you know, completely horrendously out of this world hard, they are complicated, and also I'm going to have to put a lot of hours into it to get it into the way that I want, so I don't want to rush through any aspect of the process. So right now it is being worked on, but it's very much in the kind of mathematical brain stage rather than being a practical knitting project. So that's what's happening with my Aspen cardigan. Now, because Aspen has kind of been on the back burner when it comes to knitting, I felt like I had a big hole in my life where knitting projects were supposed to be. As you'll recall, I finished my Oracle shawl recently. I also finished my sockhead hat, and it just felt like I didn't really have anything that I was wanting to pick up and just knit in front of the TV or when we're at the cinema. And then I remembered a languishing whip, and I'm really, really pleased to say that a project has come out of hibernation. Before you ask, it's not the Bowland cardigan. It's going to happen, I promise, but the Bowland cardigan is still hibernating, but fingers crossed it will be out of hibernation at some point in the future. But the project that I went towards was one that it just makes my heart so happy, and I'm really, really glad that I'm working on it again, and that is my Ebony cardigan. Now, this has not actually seen the light of day on the podcast for quite some time, and that was because the pattern that I'm using, let me just grab it, is from this incredible book. Now, this is The Artisan by Helga Isager, and it is a beautiful collection of patterns. I bought this book when I went to Loop with Nikki and Amy a little while ago, and I just knew that I wanted to knit pretty much everything in here. However, the way that the patterns are put together is slightly more complicated than I'm used to. Well, not necessarily complicated, just different. And so how to explain? Basically, the pattern charts that I'm used to are very much do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, the end, you have a finished garment. The way that these patterns are put together is do this, lots and lots of information, whilst at the same time doing this, whilst at the same time doing this, which kind of blew my mind a little bit, and I was working through it. I was enjoying the project. It was a little bit demanding on the old grey matter, but I was getting there and very much enjoying it. Knitted a lot of the garment, knitted the right front, went to the instructions to knit the left front, and it said, basically, do what you just did for the right front, just in reverse. And my little brain just couldn't cope. Which was such a shame, because that meant that this project, in my incredible Hobbit's Sweet Sparrow yarn project bag, which Julie sent to me, I love this bag, oh. But it has been languishing for a very long time, and I am desperate to get this cardigan off the needles. And I'm happy to say that quite a lot of progress has been made. This is my Ebony cardigan, you guys. Oh, isn't it just divine? So this yarn is Travel Knitter yarn, which I purchased at Edinburgh Yarn Festival, and it was one of my luxury purchases. It is absolutely divine, this yarn, and oh, I just love it. I love it, and I love the pattern. Now, I don't have the ball band in my bag, which is really, really terrible of me, but I believe the blend of yarn is merino, baby camel and silk, and it is divine, and I absolutely love it. It's so nice and squishy and gorgeous, and doesn't it go well with my autumnal lipstick? I mean, everything just comes together. But yes, when I last shared this project with you, I had just finished working on the right front, And I have now finished the left front. That's left on the needle there. And I'm working on the back. And I mean, that's just, oh, it's just happiness, happiness, happiness. I am so thrilled that this is finally on its way to being finished. Once I have finished the construction on the back and done the shoulder seams, all I need to do is the sleeves and the button band, and jobs are good un. And I'm really enjoying working on this project again. It's very different to a lot of things that I've been working on because I must say it's not quite filling the massive gap in my heart because it is a fingering weight sweater, and as we start moving into autumn, all I can think about is heavy DK weight garments or worsted weight garments. But I know that I'm not going to be able to feel really happy in my heart of hearts until a lot of these works in progress are off the needles. And plus, this has silk in it, which means that it is still going to keep me really super toasty warm. And it's a lovely fibre. I just love how it looks. The colour is incredible. This is the first project that I've made out of travel knitter yarn, and I cannot tell you how impressed I am with the quality of it, with how it looks, with how it feels when you're working with it. And yeah, I can't wait for this to be finished. I really can't. It's going to be so special. The final thing that I wanted to share for what's on my needle is not actually a project that's currently on my needles, but it's one that I hope to be on my needles very soon. Now, as I was saying about the Ebony cardigan, I am really enjoying working on it, but currently my heart is calling out for something a little bit different. Now, I think that it's calling for the Aspen, but as I said, the Aspen really needs to just have a little bit of downtime while I work out exactly what I'm going to do with the schematics of the pattern to get it the way that I want. So even though I would love to just plow through all of the charts for that project, it's just not going to happen right now. I need to get that into my brain and move on. So I really wanted a project that would kind of fill that middle ground between the Ebony cardigan and the Aspen. Now, I think the reason that I want to knit on Aspen is, like I said, my heart is longing for heavier weight knit garments. I love a fingering weight garment as much as the next person, but I really want something a bit chunkier and a little bit more snuggly as the cold nights start drawing in. And then I remembered some yarn that I purchased at POMfest, and I haven't yet used this yarn, which is a travesty because it's glorious, but I had skeined a little bit of it up because I had wanted to swatch with it. So guess what, you guys? I did my swatch. Ta-da! Okay, I haven't blocked it yet. I just was so desperate to show it to you, I haven't even blocked it. But I'm pretty sure that the dimensions are great. This is actually the second swatch that I've done. But more on that in just a second. My lovely swatch. This is yarn by the Wool Kitchen that I purchased at, like I said, at POMfest this year. This is the skein of yarn and it is glorious. It is a DK weight Blue Face Leicester superwash and it's in the Champagne Supernova colourway, which means it has this incredible kind of vibrant pop of colour in it. But the majority of the yarn is just this glorious, natural, thick, high twist DK Blue Face Leicester. It's everything that my heart wants, and just knitting up a couple of swatches has made my heart incredibly happy over the last few days. Now, you may or may not remember, I bought this yarn with a specific project in mind, and it is still the project that I have in mind for it, and that is the Netherton Cardigan, this little guy from the first edition of Pom Pom Quarterly. This is the anniversary edition that I picked up, and I just love this cardigan. I cannot wait to work on this cardigan. It's going to be beautiful. even though I could not remember its name for the longest time, as you'll probably remember if you watched my Pom Fest videos when I actually purchased this yarn. It's a really, really lovely cropped cardigan, quite open fronted, with this little sort of chevron detailing around the waist and around the cuffs of the cardigan as well. It's ever so sweet. So it ticked a whole load of boxes for me in terms of being my next cast on, because it's a DK weight project, tick, and it's not a hugely demanding project, tick. So it's not going to take away any time from Aspen when I start working on Aspen, which will need a lot of time because it's a much simpler project and it doesn't involve a huge amount of charts and cables and that type of thing. But it's also a really nice variation from my Ebony cardigan, which is obviously a much lighter, drapier, fluty kind of garment, and this is going to be a lot more robust and chunky. So in terms of swatching, like I said, I really, really need to block this just to be 100% sure that my swatching, that my gauge is coming out correctly. But the pattern calls for 4mm needles. I did cast on my swatch originally using 4mm needles, and it came up about ½ an inch wide on both the width and the length. And so I have swapped down to 3.5mm needles, and job's a good one pretty much. I'm really happy with the texture of this fabric. I'm really happy with the stitch definition, which is important for this garment because there's quite a lot of stockinette stitch in the pattern. I also am really, really enjoying how this yarn is knitting up. It makes me happy every time I get one of these little bloops of colour. It makes me so happy. But yes, this is going to be my next project to cast on, I think. Like I said, need to check the gauge 100%, but I think that we'll be pretty much good to go. So you never know, this evening I may well be casting on this, and I can't wait. I mean, who wouldn't be happy about using this kind of yarn? And I think it's, oh, so good. It's so good. That's everything for what's on my needles, but it's not everything for yarny content, because I have been lucky enough to get some incredible owl post over the last couple of weeks. Now, I am going to say this does not include things that were sent to me for my birthday. If you sent me something for my birthday, thank you so much. I will be reaching out to you properly, but I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who did think of me for my birthday. It was completely unexpected and so appreciated. It was absolutely wonderful. But this is a couple of bits and pieces that came along before my birthday. I will hopefully be doing a birthday roundup video of a couple of bits and pieces that I got for my birthday if you're interested, but that will be a separate video from the regular podcast. First and foremost, I got gifted this incredible skein of yarn from Helen. Now, Helen actually won tickets for the Sewing Bee Live from the giveaway that I hosted on this channel. So hi Helen. And when Helen came over to introduce herself to me at the fair, she handed me this lovely wrapped parcel, and I think I was a little bit zonked out and didn't quite realise what happened, but I said, oh, thank you, that's so lovely. But I didn't really appreciate exactly what I was being handed at the time. And Helen, thank you, because Helen actually has her own hand-dyed yarn company, and she gifted me this beautiful skein of yarn. I cannot get over how amazing this is. This colourway is called the Falling Leaves, and it is a one-of-a-kind. It's a one-of-a-kind, and I love it so much. But I have seen some of her other yarns from her Instagram, and she is amazing. So there is her label, Giddy Yarns, and you can follow her at Giddy Yarns on Instagram, and she also has giddyyarns.com, which is her website. Now, just bask in the glory of how incredible this yarn is. I mean, it is the personification of autumn in a skein of yarn. I cannot tell you how happy this makes me. I have no idea what I'm going to make with this yet, Helen. I think it needs to just kind of sit in the stash for a little while, being gorgeous and making me happy. It could very easily end up being a pair of autumnal socks, although my sock mojo has kind of gone out the window recently, so perhaps a hat. But whatever it ends up being, it's going to be so loved, and thank you, Helen. Please do check out her Instagram and her website and show her some love. She is amazing. Very excitingly, a parcel that has come a very, very long distance and has been long awaited by myself also arrived recently, and that was a lovely, gorgeous parcel from Connie of the Chilly Knits podcast and Chilly Knits, the yarn dyeing company, because she dyes the most incredible yarns. And Connie got in touch with me not so long ago asking if she could send a couple of skeins of yarn for me to play with. And I can't tell you how excited I am to have these yarns in my life, to have them in my hands. Come on. I mean, this one, it has my heart. It has my absolute heart and soul. This is Neon Diva. And then, I mean, can you even... Oh, it's amazing. This one is Imagination, and I just love them both. I think that they are so incredible. The thing that I love about Connie's dyeing is that her colour choices are really quite unexpected and really surprising, but my goodness, they work so well. I personally would have never kind of paired neon orange with hot pink and then with teal, but in this skein of yarn it just works and it makes me so happy, and it's so squishy, she says, almost dropping the yarn. Both of these are on her Cuddly Sock, which is a superwash merino nylon, 85% 15%, and I love them. Connie suggested in her note with these that maybe I do brioche with them, and could you even handle those in brioche? I don't think that, I mean, really, but I don't even know. I'm very conflicted as to what to use them for because they're so special, and I don't want them to be in a project that I'm thinking, I don't really feel, you know, too excited about that, but I want them to be in a project that I'm going to love and wear all the time because they are so gorgeous. And I mean, Cuddly Sock is right, because these are so squishy and delicious and gorgeous, and I just want to sleep on them and love them forever. So thank you so much, Connie. Please, 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 if you do not follow her on Instagram, if you do not follow her on YouTube, and if you haven't checked out her website, please go and do that, because she is an absolute artist. I adore her. I'm sending you so much love, Connie. Thank you so much. You are amazing. Go show her some love, guys, and maybe get your hands on some of her special yarn. Enough about yarn for just a second, because it's time that we talk about so what. And I am so, pun intended, happy that my sewing mojo is currently going through the roof. I am loving getting back to sewing. I'm so thrilled. I can't stop saying so now, and it's awkward, but I'm really thrilled that a lot of projects are getting done, are getting worked on, and yeah, it just makes me very happy in my heart. So so much sewing is going to be in the pipeline in the near future. The first finished object that I have completed recently is, of course, my Martha dress, and I loved this project. I've actually done a full finished object video which was on this channel last week, so if you haven't checked that out, please do. I'll pop a link for it in the description below if you want the full details about Martha. But I'm so happy with how she turned out. My first version of Martha, though really lovely, was nowhere near as successful as the second one. I feel like I've really found the perfect combination of fabrics and fit for this dress for it to work really well for me and for my body shape. And I've worn this dress quite a few times since it was finished, unexpectedly so, a lot more than I thought I would, just because it makes me feel happy and pretty and stylish, and I just really love it. I'm so happy with it. I can't stop saying so. It's kind of ridiculous, but yes, do check out my previous video all about Martha if you'd like to see more details about all of her magical details. Excitingly, that is not the only project that I have been working on recently when it comes to sewing, because I have started another dress. Now, this dress, I did have these big plans of it being my birthday dress and me wearing it out on my 30th birthday, but like many challenges that I set myself, I realised that I was being completely unrealistic and that I was actually going to make myself very unhappy by trying to force myself to finish this dress as quickly as physically possible rather than actually enjoying the process of sewing it. So it is not actually finished, but it's in progress and I'm very, very happy with it. It's in this incredible fabric. This fabric is obviously from Fabric Godmother, as is the majority of my fabric at the moment. It's this beautiful golden cotton lawn fabric which has these incredible patterns on it, which include beautiful flowers and little birds, and oh, I love it so much. Just holding it now makes me want to hop on the sewing machine and get it finished because it's glorious. But it is the Penny Dress by Colette Patterns. I have been wanting to get this dress done since they released the Penny pattern. Literally the day that they announced that it was being released, I wanted to get my hands on a copy, and now that I have started working on it, I'm really, really, really happy with how it's looking so far. It's got some lovely detailing. If I can just show you how much I've done so far. I've done the main construction of the bodice, which, if you can see here, actually has a yoke detail, so you can see the little seam there, as a kind of men's shirt would have. So it has that top yoke panel at the back, but lovely detailing. It also has a yoke panel in the fabric on the inside of the shirt, which gives it real structure, very much like wearing a man's shirt or a dress shirt does, that has just a little bit more fit and a little bit more, yeah, structure. And little touches like that, you know, are the things that make my heart skip a beat. The detailing on how the cuffs are constructed as well is really lovely. The pattern has been really, really nice to use. It's definitely on the intermediate edge of patterns, I think. I'm always very wary to say, oh, this is a beginner, this is for an intermediate, but if you're looking for a quick, easy pattern to sew up, this is probably not going to be the pattern for you. It is relatively involved. There are quite a lot of fiddly steps, and although each one of those steps is very enjoyable and very well put together, if you're new at fit and dress construction, it may be worthwhile having this as more of an inspirational moving towards goal of sewing rather than, you know, doing it straight away. However, if you do have a little bit of sewing experience behind you and you love a shirtwaist dress like I do, I think you'll really, really love this pattern. It's my goal, hopefully within the next couple of months, to really spend a lot of time working on a lot of different sewing projects and get a lot of new things into my handmade wardrobe. But I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in my general waffle segment this week, which is going to be pretty waffly. But for now, I'm really happy with how this is looking. It's been sitting on my mannequin in my sewing room, and every time I walk by, just catching a glimpse of it makes me ridiculously happy, and it's just perfect. It's going to be a really, really nice kind of fancy autumnal dress. And I'm hopeful that I may be able to get it finished by the time that Emrys and I go out for our anniversary at the beginning of November. We'll see. And there you have it, guys. We're coming to our final segment of the podcast, which is, of course, General Waffle. General Waffle. And for this week's waffle, I didn't really want to speak about a specific topic because I've been doing a lot of that over the past month. If you want to hear me talk about my views on particular things or talk about, you know, very specific bits and pieces, then definitely check out my 30 Before 30 series that I've done recently. But I really wanted to take this time just to have a little bit of a catch up with you. You know, it feels like a while since we've done this, since we've sat down and we've just talked to each other and spent a bit of time together. And, you know, I've missed you. And how are you? How are you feeling? I hope that you're doing well. I hope that you are taking a little bit of quiet time for yourself to enjoy some podcasts, maybe some knitting, maybe some chocolate cake, you know. But I wanted to kind of get you up to date with where I currently am in kind of my life and my crafting life and what I'm feeling like at this particular time of year. So indulge me just for a little bit if you wouldn't mind. So as I said in my So What segment, I am really being bitten hard by the sewing bug recently. It's not a surprise that it's a direct kind of result of my new job, working at Tilly and the Buttons, where I'm surrounded by Tilly's beautiful patterns on a day-to-day basis and surrounded by people who are kind of equally interested in sewing, and having been at the fairs that I've been at recently, the Handmade Fair and the Sewing Bee Live, and meeting lots of people and talking about sewing, it's been like balm on my sewing soul, because now all I can think about is getting my sewing mojo on and sewing up all of the beautiful fabric that came my way during those fairs. And although that's all great and exciting, and I really can't wait to get so many of those projects cut out and sewn together, because it's kind of the fast craft in comparison to the slow craft of my knitting, it scratches that itch of instant gratification, because I know that there are certain projects that I can sew up in a day, in half a day, in a few hours, and have a completely new outfit. And that's a really lovely feeling to have when you've spent hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours on a sweater, and although you've loved every single minute of it, you still don't have a garment to show for it. But along with that and the excitement of that, I also want to focus my attention on a couple of other bits and pieces. I do have a lot of works in progress, and I know that I talk about this every so often, and I kind of go, oh, my works in progress, I'm going to work on them. I really am now. In particular, I have some sewing languishing whips that I want to get finished as soon as possible. Some of them only need a couple of buttons, maybe a zip, and so I want to get those done as a priority. I also have a little pile of garments that need repairing. So for example, my Cleo dress, my dungaree dress, which I love and I would wear every day if I could, some of the stitching has actually come loose and it's in desperate need of just a bit of titivation. So I don't want to wear it while it's still in that condition, but I haven't actually made myself sit down and do a little bit of fixing. It would probably take less than half an hour to do those repairs, but I haven't ever made the time for them. And I have quite a few garments that are in a similar position to the Cleo dress. I have a couple of skirts that need faffing about with, maybe a dress or two. So over this month, I really want to make sure that I get my mending done, and that all of the garments that are currently in my wardrobe that are rotating and that are functional garments are just that they are fully functional, and that there's nothing in there that is worrying me in terms of things falling apart or needing repair. So that is a very big priority. The other thing that I'm going to be doing is some of my knitting whips are going to be taking a trip to Frogtown. Shocking, I know. And let me set your minds at rest. Guys, it's still not the Boland cardigan. I know so many of you have love for the Boland cardigan, and so do I. And she will get finished eventually. She's definitely my longest whip, and I know that she has a lot of fans. So please do not fear for her. She is not getting ripped out anytime soon. But I do have a couple of other projects that I think are going to get frogged, just because I am not feeling the love for them anymore. And I want to use the yarn for projects that I do have love for, because otherwise what is the point of doing anything, really, if you're not going to be completely and utterly 100% in love with it. So that's kind of where I am creatively. Lots of creative juices are flowing. I also got some really gorgeous yarn for my birthday, which I can't wait to share with you in a video which will be up and coming. I can't wait to cast on that project, but I'm deliberately preventing myself to cast on that incredible, epic project before I have finished quite a few of the other bits and pieces that I have going on. And one of the reasons that I think that I'm in this kind of mental space right now is that something that my 30 before 30 series really proved to me is that I am really busy right now. I'm very, very busy. I have never been so busy as I am right now, really, or at least it doesn't feel like I have been. Particularly over September, it's a very busy time of year for us because it's my birthday, it's Emrys's birthday. You're starting to get those little inklings of Christmas, and also both Emrys and I are at really important junctures in our working lives. My job has got quite a bit more intense recently. I'm taking on a lot more responsibilities, I'm learning a lot of new things, and although it's been incredible and I love it, it's a big challenge. And we've also been working extra weekends with the fairs. I then decided to do a video every day in September, and on top of all of that, I want to have some vestige of a social life, have a relationship with my husband, be able to take care of my dog, be able to look after and redecorate and renovate our house, and something's got to give at some point. So you can probably tell that I felt a little bit burnt out after September, in the best way possible, in the way that you've been doing all of these incredible things and it's just like, you know, when you've been at a birthday party and you've eaten too much cake and you suddenly realise, oh, I need to take a little break from the cake, otherwise I will never be able to appreciate how amazing it is because I've just had too much. That's kind of how I felt when October rolled around. And because I don't want to lose the love for my crafting, for my creativity, and for this podcast, because goodness knows that would be a horrible thing to happen if I woke up and thought, nope, can't do it anymore, and I don't want to get to that point. So this is going to be a little bit of time of self-care in the best way possible, which is just spending time on the slow pleasure of organising and having clarity and freeing up space, be it mental space or physical space in the house, and just really enjoying every single step of that process. Rather than trying to eat the entire cake in one sitting, I want to eat the cake mouthful by mouthful, day by day, slowly, so that I can enjoy every single bite and really appreciate the cake in its loveliness and how lucky I am to have it. And again, I'm taking this metaphor a little bit too far, but I think it works and I really want some cake now. Oh, I love cake. But yes, that's kind of where I am. I'm really excited for lots of lovely crafty projects to come, to be able to share those with you. I'm excited to be back into more of a regular podcasting schedule again. And yeah, I'm just very, very happy. I'm happy to be back with you, and I hope that you're happy to have me back too. Yay! On that waffly note, that is the end of this week's podcast. Thank you so, so much for watching. I really, really appreciate every single one of you that comes back each week to spend some time with me. And if this was your first time visiting with me, thank you. And I hope that you decide to come back. Maybe hit the subscribe button on your way out so you can be kept up to date with everything that I'm doing on this channel. And if you've enjoyed the video, please do give us a thumbs up. Subscriptions and thumbs ups and comments and all of that good stuff, it really does do a lot of good stuff for the channel and it helps me, so thank you and you're awesome. I hope you all have an incredible week. I can't wait to share with you some more lovely bits and pieces that I have kind of waiting behind the scenes with you next week. Please, please remember to get all of your entries in for the Harry Potter Cal and enter the Blacker Yarns giveaway. I'm really, really excited about all of those things. But for now, I am going to love you and leave you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all again soon. Bye!